Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Zoe More. In the last episode, we discussed Indian entertainment in relation with culture industry and how it has become like a mass production factory. Today's discussion will be on how COVID has affected the culture industry. As we are seeing all around us, someone or the other is getting affected by this deadly virus, be it by the virus itself or its side effect. Even the culture industry is not untouched. Many organizers across industries have scrambled to stay afloat and fight the side effects that have surged in communities beyond the physical symptoms of the virus. Unfortunately, those involved and working within the art and culture industry have been heavily impacted due to the nature of these practices. Cultural and creative sectors are important in their own right in terms of their economic footprint and employment. They also spur innovation across the economy as well as contribute to numerous other channels for positive social impact. Culture is not just for leisure but play a fundamental role in education of the society. On an economic front, it's well known that the arts contribute more to the national income than the construction, transportation, warehousing, travel, tourism, mining, utilities, and agricultural industries, according to the Americans for the Arts. This sector is one of those most affected by the COVID 19 pandemic that is ravaging the world, with the necessary containment measures leading to the cancellation of festivals and concerts, as well as the suspension of the activities of cinemas, clubs, and theaters and other venues. In the context of the pandemic, this has meant an innumerable number of these workers and artists being furloughed or laid off, as well as needing to close their doors to the public, resulting in unprecedented loss. With museums, cultural institutions, World Heritage sites, and other historic monuments closed, communities are deprived of culture as well as significant revenues. At the height of the global lockdown, 90% of the countries had closed their Heritage properties. In 2013, creative industries around the world generated revenue of $2 billion and employed 29 million people. The market for creative goods is estimated to be $508 billion as of 2015. In 2015, developing economies exported more than 215 billion creative products, including design goods, fashion, and films. Top exporters included China, Turkey, India, Mexico, El Salvador, and Pakistan. UNESCO has put annual revenue from cultural and creative sectors at $2.3 trillion dollars and exports at more than $250 billion. The sectors employ nearly 30 million people worldwide, while some forecast put its contribution to global gross domestic product at about 10% in the near future. Even though the lockdown were lifted, the art world was relegated to digital platforms for the foreseeable future. As a result, many musicians, artists, photographers, and comic illustrators saw their sources of income evaporate. Some cultural enterprises were forced to be out of business altogether. Although a few professionals were able to shift online, others have struggled to adapt. What is involved here is not only the economic and financial impact on these industries, which cannot recover investments already made in their activities and planning, but also the social impact on art and culture professionals who are out of work, many of them already in desperate need. In particular, music, performing, and visual arts have suffered dramatically due to their difficulty in transforming physical spaces, landmarks, and attractions into merchandise that can enter the virtual marketplace. Though digital platforms have come to the rescue of the audience, it cannot support every aspect of the culture industry. Digital platforms have made a huge impact and come to the front, but it has left behind the indigenous artists who depended on show to show income. This has become the classic case of the rich becoming richer and the poor becoming poorer, where the huge media houses are creating content as mass production and without any variation. Just like Adorno and Horkheimer said, for Huda Alchemist Kanu, founder of the Abu Dhabi Festival, digital will never compare with the real thing. She said, the whole future is in this balance between virtual and real life experience. Energy with people cannot be replaced. She said this in a webinar in September organized by the Washington DC based Middle East Institute on the impact of COVID 19 on festivals. During the ongoing COVID 19 pandemic, arts and culture, like all others affected sectors of the society and the economy, need government support to mitigate the negative impacts of from the lockdown and economic downturn, as well as to jump start the recovery process. Many countries and territories are providing just that. Like in Croatia, the Ministry of Culture is supporting independent artists who have lost income due to COVID 19. In Hong Kong, the government's anti epidemic fund has allocated around $20 million through the Home Affairs Bureau to support the arts sector, of which over $6 million is allocated to the Hong Kong Arts Development Council to strengthen its support scheme for arts and cultural sector. Like many other productions and institutions, Broadway and off-Broadway productions have been closed for several months with overwhelming uncertainty as to when they will reopen up their doors. As a $1 billion industry, a significant part of the New York City's artistic lifeblood, theater artists and production crews have been hit hard. The enclosed and intimate nature of the practice has made it impossible to know when venues will be opened again, especially as new cases start to spike across the nation again. Though many have taken to Zoom to put on shows and carry out performances, the financial impact on its makers and community has been insurmountable. In places like Puerto Rico, the arts and culture scene has already been struggling before the pandemic. From museums to art venues, many cultural spaces on the island have been looking for financial incentives to support their work and innovating their practice to stay afloat. Puerto Rican actor and comedian Ricardo Andre Lugo expressed that the pandemic's consequences represented a need to transform the industry once more. We need to educate the audiences to pay for online content. If we provide authentic and genuine content, people will pay for it, said Eckhard Thiemann, artistic director of Shubak, London's largest festival of contemporary Arab culture. Please keep tuned in for the